What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great day. It is complete crap out there, but hope you're enjoying it regardless. And I hope you all had a very happy Easter. This week, just dragging. Tuesday felt just as crappy as Monday, but I'm here and I'm ready to talk some birds with you. Now, tonight, Joel Embiid returns to the Sixers, so I really got to get some things done tomorrow. Super early day, so I'm not sure. I got an early day, then I got to do some leads at night. If anything happens, it will be a late video tomorrow. So just know that. But I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time right here, right now, live. And I would love to hear your thoughts, your questions, your comments. We're going to go through this. We're going to look at the updated depth chart of the Eagles position by position. We'll break it down with an outlook at each. And I have them all ranked, 14 rankings here. And then we'll look at the future and current draft picks. Obviously, this is leading us up into the draft series that I know you all can't wait for, going for year 6 in a row, predicting the Eagles' first pick. So this is how I look at it. We're going to look at the roster, what we have, and then I'm going to show you who I have as the highest ranked position here. But I'd love to hear who you guys have. You agree, disagree, throughout, whatever it may be. But going to fly through this bad boy. As I said, I got some things to do, but love to hear your thoughts. Appreciate all of you taking the time. You effing sickos. Let's go. Tiffany, I appreciate you. Lil, China, let's go. Birds. Appreciate each and every one of you taking the time here tonight. And we've got Nina in the building as well. This party's officially effing started. Let's go. But look, you guys have been tuning in. You've been checking out all this stuff, and I cannot thank you enough. Nina, China, all of you, Tiffany, you guys have been resharing, doing all the stuff you can, commenting on everything, tagging me and stuff. It's truly, it does not go unnoticed, so I cannot thank you enough. But let's get everybody up to speed with what this roster looks like. In case you've missed anything, we'll take a look at an updated depth chart here for the Philadelphia Eagles. And anybody in white here is under contract. Anyone in green new to the team this year, whether that be free agent or trade. Then you see the reserve future guys in gray there. So the Eagles have been adding plenty already, and I will go through these position by position, but just giving you an idea here before we get into it so you can make up your own mind as to where you think the Eagles should go. And then on defense, I've got 12 starters listed here because for the 4th year now, we will be running multiple schemes. So you'll see even fronts, odd fronts. So want to show you those 5-man fronts with the 3 interior D linemen, but also that, when you have even fronts or odd, doesn't matter, but you can have a nickel corner in there. So going to see a mixture. We talk about that multiple scheme defense going to be year 4, but we finally got Vic Fangio. Very excited about that. And then the special teams, we've been talking about that. We locked up everybody, bring in somebody in that can actually return the ball at kick returner. So I think that, some excitement about this roster is definitely warranted. And I know myself, I'm quite excited for what Howie Roseman has been able to do so far. Now, you could still sign free agents. You could still do whatever you want, but the draft is coming in a month. And we've talked about it. Look, I think that they could still trade, they could still do all kinds of stuff. And we'll talk about all that. Let me get this thing situated. Sorry, I was trying to rush to get this together here. But I think that there's a lot of possibilities. But I think when you look at that roster, Howie's done a fantastic job so far. So what we're going to do is, if you guys caught this before free agency, we did this. We looked at, all of the positions, who we have where, and then I told you why I have them ranked where I have them. So we'll start at 14 and we'll work our way up to the number 1 position of need for the Eagles. So, draft pick is, well, after all those shows we're talking about here tonight, what round do you think? Well, we'll talk about that during the cornerbacks. Do you think we'll use draft picks? Oh, we're always looking to move up, move down, stay put. All of those things are always possible. And yeah, I'm definitely excited to see if Rodgers is that kick returner or where we go from there. But let's jump right into this with the position outlook. So just like pre-draft, we talked about this. You will see we'll start from 14. Now, before I had it just offensive linemen, everything, I have it broken up with the tackles, the guards, the centers, specialists are in there, returns, but everybody's in there. So we're going to look at every damn position. And, well, let's just start this bad boy off. Number 14, the position I feel we really don't need anything at, and that's quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. So you've seen what we've added. We traded for a backup in Kenny Pickett. You signed Will Grier, someone familiar with the system here of Kellen Moore, Doug Neusmeyer, the new quarterback coach. So, look, it's going to be beneficial to all these guys. You have Tanner McKee, the draft pick last year, who I'm excited about here, but clearly QB1, Jalen Hurts, and he did phenomenal last year, even with this team falling apart around him. Keep seeing these narratives that he's going to turn things around, this, that, the other thing, but it's like, I don't think you were watching the same thing, because this dude was doing all he could to get this team on track. So I feel pretty confident about the quarterback room. Don't think you have to add there. If there's somebody in the late rounds, undrafted, maybe they want to add to the room, I would totally get it. But quarterback for me, I'm not stressing it. Now, up next at number 13, and let me know how you feel about quarterback. And look, don't worry. I usually add like their actual jersey numbers, their height, their weight, the college experience, all that stuff. That stuff will get added throughout the offseason. I just didn't have time for that. But let's get into number 13 here. Up next, the specialists. And I think for me, seeing all these guys get locked down was fantastic. Jake Elliott is now tied with Tucker there for the highest paid contract. Love it. You got Braden Mann brought back here. Love that. Rick Lovato extended. Love it. Let's go. So you got your specialists all locked in. I feel pretty confident there. If you want to look for someone undrafted, okay, not against it, but I feel pretty good about our specialists. Now, up next at number 12 here, this is a position, a lot of people may say we need. That's fine. At center, for me, I feel pretty good about it. You've got Cam Jurgens. He is the future. Jason Kelsey talked about it. And you've got Matt Hennessy, who was brought in, who can help you at center, could possibly be a guard. He provides depth at both. So love that there. But to me, I feel pretty set at Cam Jurgens at center. I'm pretty excited there. Anything were to happen, maybe Landon Dickerson kicks over. Now, this is not to say you can't add in this draft, because I think they definitely could. And if you're looking at a guy that maybe is a guard with some versatility that can help at center, hell yeah. But we're talking about true centers here. I feel this is just to show you I feel pretty confident in Cam Jurgens, and I like the Matt Hennessy signing. Now, up next at number 11, we've got ourselves the return specialist. Now, usually this is pretty high, and I'm usually freaking out about how we're not adding anybody, but you got Covey here, one of the best punt returners in the game, and you have Isaiah Rodgers here, who can kick and punt return. Now, we also signed Paris Campbell and Tyler Hall. So those guys, they're kick returners, not really punt returners. So Covey's got that locked down, but you have some kick returners here. And with the new rules, we should see some returns. Now, if Rodgers is starting at corner, not so sure he is that kick returner, but you could definitely look to add in the draft at certain positions that can provide you with special teams help. But I don't think that it's dire need for once, and I love saying that. Let's go. Now, let's jump into this top 10, and at number 10, you've got yourself the interior defensive lineman. And I know people feel this is a position we need to go in round one on. For me, that is not the case. You went round one the last 2 years with Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. I am very excited about their future in those five-man. We talk about those odd fronts. Milton Williams, he's going to take over that. Well, Fletcher Cox was the leading snap getter, so Carter will take that. But Milton Williams will come in as that third guy. And, there will be times where all three of those guys are on the field at the same time. Very excited about it. You got Tua Pelotu, Ajomo, Ellis, Booker, and then PJ Mustafa. So you got Ellis and Mustafa, some nose tackles that provide some depth behind Jordan Davis. So I like what we got going on here. Now, this is not to say that the Eagles won't add here. I just don't think it's dire need. I feel very confident about this, and I've talked about Milton Williams being extended. Please, please, please lock him down. Would love to see those three growing together for the future, and then whoever wants to be the depth, let's effing go. But excited about Ajomo and Tua Pelotu here, and would love to see what they are able to do together. So, hey, we'll see what they do this all season, but I don't feel that interior D-line is super necessary at this time. Now, up next at number 9, I've got the tackles. And clearly we've got probably the best duo in the game, but you don't know how long Lane Johnson's going to be around. You hope that these guys can stay healthy. Had some injuries there, but Fred Johnson, love him. Excited about his future. Darian Kennard was picked up this offseason, and then LaRaven Clark is back. So I like what we have here. I do. But I think you could also look to the future here. So that's why it's a little bit higher, but I still feel very confident about what we got going on in tackle. But don't be surprised if the Eagles look to add offensive line. I just feel it's going to be a different position that you just haven't seen yet. Now at number 8, I'll cut it off here after this. Running backs here. Check out your comments. Then we'll get into the top 7. But running back, this was a lot higher before free agency. But obviously you added Saquon Barkley. Very excited about that. Kenny Gainwell, you know that the team is high on him. I like the kid, but definitely not your starting back. You got Tyrion Davis-Price and Lou Nichols here. Excited to see what those young guys can do. But I definitely think you're going to look to add in the draft. And you never know with Saquon. You hope that he can stay healthy. He's actually got an offensive line. He's not going to be the only guy getting the ball every play. So that bodes well for him. But I think that you could definitely look to add more younger pieces to this room. And I would be all for it. So adding competition, only 4 guys, maybe 3 make the team here at running back. So for me, I don't think it's dire, but, maybe finding Saquon, a guy to go with a 1-2 punch, I want to say. And I know they like Kenny G, but I would not be against adding someone else to that room. So that's just my thoughts so far, but we'll get into this top 7 in a second here. But let me jump over here real quick to your comments, but let me know how you're feeling so far, and then you'll see my top 7 coming up here shortly. But Little G, appreciate you tuning in. Go Birds. And Steen, the future right tackle. I think he's definitely going to be your guard, as we've talked about here since last year. You talked about what Stout saw in him, thought he could be the next Brandon Brooks, so excited about him. I'm all about him getting 1. So if he can get 4, let's effing go. I would be all about it. But he was definitely close. One of the best in the league. So it was awesome to see his development. Hope he continues to do so. On the road to victories, I don't know who. So yeah. Whoa. Well, you can always go to the playlist, and there are always every single roster move you ever wouldn't just find out who somebody is. That's what all those playlists are for. So go to that playlist tab. You can find roster moves, show me the money, draft stuff, free agency, whatever your heart desires. And throughout the season, those playlists grow. So I try to organize it to the best of my ability. So that way you guys can just hit play and it'll take you away. But can we draft a running back? I definitely think we'll be looking at all these positions we're talking about here. But I know they like Kenny G and don't know that they just get rid of him. Now let's jump right back into this. And at number 7 here, we're going to obviously talk about some more important positions here, but this one I've talked about this entire offseason. I don't think that it is dire need here. Oh, sorry, I don't know how that got thrown up on there, but you can see at cornerback, I think that for me, I'm pretty confident in a lot of these young guys, but it's just a question as to what the hell's going on. So I made the graphic even look weird. Isaiah Rodgers, I've got him as the other starter with Darius Slay. I just feel that whether it's outside where he is predominantly played or inside where he can play, I think Isaiah Rodgers sees those starting snaps with Darius Slay. But the question is, who the hell wants to be the next guy? So Zach McPherson coming back from injury, James Bradbury maybe getting a second shot or maybe just not on the team. Got young guys like Ringo, Ricks, Job, a great special teamer, but Tyler Hall provides you some nickel corner depth. We talk about his versatility helping you in the return game. That should bode well for him. Got guys like Garner, Goodrich, and Mullen back from the practice squad. So lots of competition here at the cornerback position. 11 guys here. But look, that's not to say that you can't be looking, for the future here. And I think the Eagles could definitely, if the right corner, anybody at any of these positions, if there's a stud that they find, hey, this guy was in my top 100 and we're at 250, what the hell, they're going to take him. So there's a corner like that, you can bet your ass that's going to happen. So this is not to say these are the positions the Eagles have to take. You guys know I'm not like the rest of the media. I actually break this stuff down for you. So just listen and you'll know exactly what I have going on here. But moving along here at number 6. So again, remember, this is not to say this is how the Eagles have to draft. Like these are the players they have to be at this position. This is just to say where I feel the positions we should be looking at. Maybe that'll help you see what I'm going to be talking about in this upcoming draft series. And I hope your asses are ready for that. But at number 6, I've got wide receiver. This is another deep position. And it's deep. We've got 10 guys here, but 2 of them are locked, in the best duo in the NFL, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. But beyond that, who wants to be wide receiver 3? You got Covey. You hope he develops as a wide receiver, but you brought in Paris Campbell, Devontae Parker. You got guys like Nada back here. Then you have Austin Watkins, Shaquan Davis, Griffin Hebert, Jacob Harris all here to party. So we've got ourselves some competition, but I still think that the Eagles are going to be looking in the draft to add a wide receiver, and I would be very ecstatic about that. But it doesn't have to be first round, second, third. It could be anywhere, man. And, obviously you don't have a third round pick, but with the way Howie is, 2 second round picks, anything can happen. Just keep in mind, again, I will break all this stuff down into detail. I'm not going to give my hand away here, but I will tell you who I like at each position. And I will go into these positions where I think the Eagles should look. So when I talk about running backs, I talk about who I like, on day 1, day 2, day 3, and where I think the Eagles should look. Day 2 guys. So just like the past 5 years, we will continue to do it the same way. I will break that down for you starting this effing week. But let's jump into the top 5 here. And at number 5, this is a very important one to me, tight end. And this is, I almost had this a little higher, but this is a weird one. So I love Dallas Goedert, obviously, one of the best tight ends in the game, but we've talked about this since all of last year, before last year. We need a tight end too. Stoll is gone now. So you've got your F-type tight ends in Calcaterra and Alberto, your receiving type guys. Then you got Togiai, you've got EJ Jenkins. Okay. Again, more receiving type guys. I think you need to bring in a true blocking Y tight end. And I think that, for me, it's a no-brainer that the Eagles are going to add a tight end in this draft. It's just a matter of where and when. And, look, I'm hopeful that Calcaterra can develop. Alberto, you could find something there, maybe even Jenkins or Togiai. But I think you need to add to this room. And there are definitely some names we're going to be talking about coming up in the next couple of weeks here as we go through that draft process. But I think tight end still very, very important. Now, we talked about linemen. You saw tackle at number 9. You saw center at 12. Well, I've got guard at number 4. So that's to show you I do think we are looking at linemen. We're always looking at linemen. But I think more importantly, a guy that could be a guard, but with some versatility that could play maybe a little center. Maybe the other side, too. Maybe you get a guard that can play a little tackle. But I think more importantly, the first one I said, you've got Matt Hennessy as depth, but you got to make sure Tyler Steen is that future. Landon Dickerson locked up, highest paid guard in NFL history. Let's go. But then you talk about Steen. I told you how much Stout loves the kid. We can hope he develops, but we have no idea what's going to happen. So maybe they draft somebody to compete with them. Doesn't have to be first, second round. Doesn't have to be the first few picks, but I would look for the Eagles to add offensive linemen. And I think more so interior guys. You've got Lessida Smith, Brett Toth, and you saw some of those tackle centers. Some guys are versatile, can play multiple positions, but I think the Eagles should look to add there. So there you see it. Now, before I get into the top 3 here, let me jump back over to these comments real quick and see what you guys are saying. It says 7 comments, so let me jump back over here real quick. And a good afternoon to you as well, Liz. Appreciate you taking the time here. We're going through talking about the positions of need rankings here. But look, this team building very well. We know the draft is coming up, so Howie knows what he's doing. So top 30 visits just means 30 players that get to visit with the Eagles. They do it every year, and then everybody says they're drafting all the players, and it's just a complete shit show. I do one show on it. We break it all down. Tight end 2 needs to be addressed. Yeah, no doubt. Tiffany teams, the first 30 picks me with perspective. So you get top 30. What that means is the top 30, you get 30 visits there. So that's what's going on there. But anyway, so let's jump into this top 3 here of the positions of need rankings. And let me see where I was here. So boom. Now at number 3, we talk about we're always going to be looking in the trenches. So let's just stay in the trenches, but this time on the defensive side of the ball. And the Eagles just traded Hassan Reddick. We all knew that was very possible. That happens because, well, you signed Bryce Huff. Last year, you drafted Nolan Smith. You brought back Brandon Graham this year, and you restructured Josh Sweat. So all those things are pretty simple, and you can see why. And look, man, Bryce Huff, I know people are sleeping on him, but like I said when I talked about him before free agency started, why he was my number 1 free agent, was because he's really effing good. And you're going to find that out soon enough. Everyone will be on board. I promise you that. But Josh Sweat, keep sleeping. That's fine. This defense was a complete shit show last year. They get things back on track. I think Sweat and Huff going to dominate, but more of a rotation like we used to do. Get Nolan Smith involved. BG. You've got Aquara, Johnson, Jackson, Lewis. Then you talk about guys like Brandon Smith, Zach Bond, who can provide you some of that versatility, can help out there. So you've got a lot of guys at edge, but I do think that the Eagles will look to add to the future here because Josh Sweat, we'll see what happens next year, but we're going to be in the same situation again. Brandon Graham going to retire. So you'll have Huff and Nolan Smith, but I do think they will be looking to the future. So expect the Eagles to look for edge defenders in this year's draft. And I cannot wait to break them all down. Now, getting into the top two, and well, these actually flip-flop. So we talked about a couple of these guys just a second ago, but linebacker. Now, this was number one, but I've dropped it to number two because, well, you added Devin White, you added Bond, you added Burks, and look, Bond, we talked about his versatility, being able to help off ball and as an edge guy, but you've got your two starters in White and Dean. You've got very versatile pieces in Brandon Smith, Ben Van Suberen, and Bond. All these guys, you can dabble with, trying on the edge, off ball, all kinds of, and maybe even Burks a little bit. So you got to have that versatility, that athleticism to play in Vic Fangio's defense. And look, we actually added to the room, so I feel pretty good. But I would look to get younger. I would love to see these guys add a linebacker for the future to pair with these guys. But hey, I don't think it has to be in the first few rounds because if Dean, stays healthy and pans out, if Devin White gets back to all-pro form, only 26 years old, it's really not dire need, but I would look to add to it. And I still got it in my top two here, but not as dire as before. I think this team is loaded. So when you're looking at linebacker and edge and all those guys, I don't think that it's really anything that you have to look at this draft and be like, oh, you have to get this guy in the first round. That's just not how it is because we're at number one here. I've got safeties, and yeah, we added CJ Gardner-Johnson, and I am ecstatic about that. You just extended Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown going to miss the beginning of the season. Tristan McCollum is back. But beyond that, some of the corners we looked at, Garner, Goodrich, some of these guys can dabble at safety, but no true safeties here. So going to be looking in the draft for a safety. And, you can still add a free agent. You can still trade for anybody you want. So don't think that it just has to be in the draft. But looking at it, the top 14 list here one last time, you can see, so just looking at the top 10, really, even that's kind of going to give you a better idea of like, okay, these are probably the positions the Eagles are looking at in the draft here. And that I know that's a lot of positions, but it's just, you never know what Howie's going to do. The way I do it is just break down every position like we do every year. And then I tell you at each position where I would look if I were the Eagles. And then after all those shows are done, it's about like, I think 3 days before the draft, I give you guys my pick. And, people have been fiending for it last couple of years. Why won't you give it? And it's like, look, I used to do it months in advance, but then it became everybody's pick. So I want to see if everybody's picking who I'm picking before I tell you. And then you get to find out, and we'll see if we can get 6 years in a row. And hey, man, some of you have been smart waiting to make your picks until I make mine now, and I don't blame you. So let's go. But I don't know that I'll be able to get it this year. I'm going to be real with you. There are so many talented people in this draft, so many positions the Eagles look to go, and it all just depends how the draft shakes out. So we'll see. But just to show you here what we actually have and the ingredients for Howie to continue cooking here. And, this year with the 8 draft picks, pick 22, 50, and 53, then you move back 22 spots. So you went from 98 to 120 because of the Kenny Pickett trade. You have 161, 171, 172, and 211. So a 1, 2 seconds, a 4, 3/5, and a 6th. Excitement all around. But remember, this is Howie Roseman, and he's always looking to wheel and deal. And you've got future draft picks. So you've got 6 next year and then 8 the following year because of that trade of Hassan Reddick. That 3rd in 2026 could become a 2nd. So, my Lord. But, 22 picks here in the next few years. You know that Howie is going to be cooking this offseason, ladies and gentlemen, and let the people keep sleeping. I understand people are upset about Hassan Reddick. People want to whine about Reed Blankenship. I don't care. I'm very excited about this team, and you're not going to break that, baby, because this team, we're getting that trophy back. So I hope you're with me, ladies and gentlemen, but that is all I've got for you here tonight. And what is going on, my man? Yo, Dragon, appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. And, yo, that's hilarious. I guess he does have that same haircut. Putting those together, a lot of those guys, I have to use certain pictures, like put them in certain ways. Somebody's, got long hair side to the side. Some got hair up high, so I have to try to figure it all out, but it's wild. But they definitely do have that same do there. But glad you enjoyed it, my man. So appreciate you all. And you guys saw we definitely don't need DT too much. Got them at number 10 there, but we definitely don't need a coach. We got lots of those, so very excited about that. But we'll get all these fans on board. Hey, I know you guys have been listening to Dan Cilio, ESP. The season's over. Everybody sucks. Fire the coaches. Look, man, if you want to continue not knowing anything going on, I can't blame you for wanting to listen to that. But if you want to jump on board this train before it's too late, come on down, ladies and gentlemen. So, and yeah, I think safety is definitely Tiffany we need to add to. Definitely, the greatest Eagles 3 years ever by a head coach. That's actually pretty good to go to the Super Bowl. Believe it or not, I know the media is telling people it's not good to go to the Super Bowl. You don't want to win games. That's actually a good thing, believe it or not. Feel like a trade, yeah, always possible with Howie. So, Huff is, hey, look, and as I told you during that free agent period, this is the guy. I promise you. Glad you're on board. Yeah, man, they'll all be on board. It's all good. They'll be the biggest Eagles fans ever. Do not worry. But you're sleeping on Jalen Carter, and I understand a lot of you guys don't like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, but I'm telling you, they are studs. So, hell yeah, let's go. We're going to come in for the victory. Eagles all day. And I understand a lot of you are bitch made. A lot of you definitely don't have that fighting spirit. You are definitely not bleeding green, and that's all right, man. Do not fear. We expect you all to be here soon, rooting for our Eagles. We'll see you soon. But until then, baby, it's Go Birds all day, every day. But, dude, just wait till you see Huff Smith. I promise you, everybody is going to jump on board this train. And look, a lot of them are still in Dan Cilio mode, and it's whine every day. Wah, wah, wah. Just watch. I promise you, dude, they're going to be the biggest fans ever. They're going to tell us their stories, how they've always been a fan. Randall Cunningham, they used to wear green. Telling you, dude, I'm telling you. You can sleep on Milton Williams, Jalen Carter, all you want, but I'm telling you, they are going to destroy. And just don't like change, no doubt. Unfortunately, change is something that happens every single year in the NFL. Just how it works. That's just how it works. But a lot of depth at D tackle, as you guys just saw there. So, a lot of these new Eagles fans are definitely not built for this. I can't disagree there. And we Eagles fans that are diehards, sickos, we know it's hilarious to watch these fans bitching already. The season hasn't even started. The all season just started. So we diehards are going to sit back and laugh our way all the way to the train station, baby. We'll see you all when you get there. But I know this sicko right here is pretty excited about this team. And look, yeah, I see the negative comments every day. I understand you hate the Eagles. Everybody sucks. And I don't know why I have to say it every show, but I don't give a shit that you don't know anything about football. If you want to whine, go watch Dan Cilio. He'll agree with you. Everybody sucks. I hate life. It's just at this point kind of ridiculous. So we'll see you guys soon when you're rooting for the Eagles, but I got to get rolling out here. Hope you enjoyed this positions of need rankings. I know some of you actually take this information and enjoy it. I know a lot of you like to just whine and bitch about every single thing and not talk about anything related to the show. No doubt. But if you're somebody that wants to talk football, please feel free to comment down below. I would love to talk some football. I need to find more sickos. It's getting old with these Cowboy-style new Eagles fans. I don't want it anymore. So, sickos, mound up, baby, and let's get through this offseason together. It's going to be a long one, but I hope you're ready for the draft series. It is beginning this week. If I can't get it out tomorrow, as I told you, tomorrow's going to be hell for me. I'm going to get it out at some point. I promise you. We're starting it off with the offense, and we're going to blow right through it, just like with free agency. We'll talk about every single position, all the players I want to talk about, all the fits for the Eagles, everything your heart desires before this draft begins. But you effing know it. But dog, yeah, if only you knew I know football, Cap. No, you don't know football. I have seen your name over and over again. You literally don't know anything what you're talking about. And if you knew more than me, well, then maybe you would be able to predict who we're drafting, who we're going to sign, who we're going to trade. You'll be able to break down the defense. You don't even know that we're running a multiple scheme defense for 4 years. You have literally tried to argue with that. You don't know what you're talking about, bro. And I'm not trying to be a dick, but when you keep pushing it, it's like, all right, dog, like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, if there's any other person, if you can show me your work, just compare it to mine. Adam Schefter, anyone that has predicted 5 years in a row, then I'll listen. But, dog, you don't know what you're talking about. I have seen you multiple videos. You are one of the dumbest fans I have ever encountered. And that's just being real with you, man. You're extremely stupid. Take care. But, Liz, I appreciate you tuning in. Some of these fans are so whiny. I just honestly can't take it anymore. But we'll just keep blocking them. I will keep growing this thing with sickos. I really just don't understand why they tune into this show to tell me how stupid they are. Like, dog, this person has literally told me, oh, we've never run odd fronts before. Like, look, dog, you got to learn at least basics. Like, and, oh, you only know the cap. Oh, there's another person who's predicted the Eagles draft picks for 5 years. There's someone else who told you we were going to trade for all the players we trade for. Sign. Oh, okay. Yeah. You guys keep saying it, but you haven't shown me shit. So, yeah, until you can prove it, shut the fuck up. Now, have yourselves a great rest of your night. You sickos, I'm so sorry that these douchebags ruined this show with their whining. I am so sorry, but I promise you I will continue blocking them. We will continue building this up with real diehard fans, real sickos, and we will get through this sicko season together, getting ready for this draft coming up. So if you need me until the next show, please feel free to reach out, whether it's talk about the birds, talk about life. You know I am always here for you, as you are always here for me. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all stay safe out there, and as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!